What's going on, Mad Maniacs? Welcome back to Mad About Disney. And I know it's been a little while since I've been here in my little corner. I do like my corner. But I'm back and I've got some great videos coming up for you guys over the next few weeks, months, etc. The upcoming periods of time that exist on the calendar. But it's been a very strange few recent weeks for everyone. If you're watching this way in the future, which maybe you are, I don't know. We're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, and I'm not going to talk about that at all. I really don't want to. If you do want to hear my thoughts on the coronavirus, you can check out this episode right here. There's a thumbnail right here of Bruh Moments with Maddie and Mikey, where I talked about, it's my new podcast with Matterhorn Matt, in case you missed that. But we talked about the coronavirus there, but we're not talking about that here. We're going to talk about what you can do with your time, since a lot of us are social distancing ourselves and staying at home for quite some time, whether you're working from home, doing your school from home. Whatever the case, a lot of us are home, and that doesn't mean that we have to, stop the little Disney magic in our lives. So today I will be giving you 10 recommendations for things to watch on Disney+. And I'm not going to be recommending things like Frozen 2 and The Little Mermaid. We all know those things are on there. We've seen them, and they're great to watch. But today I'm going to be recommending 10 things that either you probably haven't seen before, or if you have, it's been a while and it's probably worth a good rewatch. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is Mulan 2. I know Disney has made a whole bunch of sequels to a bunch of their animated classics, and a lot of them are not very good. But I actually really like Mulan 2, and a lot of people haven't seen it. Personally, I think it has some really good songs. The story is, I think, pretty enjoyable. Overall, I think that the movie is good. It carries that same humor from Mushu as it does in the original into the second movie. Overall, I think it's just a very fun movie to watch, and if you haven't seen it, I think it's worth the watch. Secondly, I'm going to recommend the Pixar shorts. Pixar has made a ton of shorts over the years, and obviously some of them are duds, but a lot of them are really good. So if you go to Disney Plus and you go to the Pixar section, there's a whole bunch of shorts there. I recommend checking out some of them. Some of my personal favorites are Bounden, Lifted is good, Your Friend the Rat is good, but there's a lot of really other good ones on there. So I recommend go checking that out. They're short watches, so you can watch a few of them here and there. They're like 15 minutes long, like 10 to 15 minutes long each, I guess. So yeah, they're good. And I don't know if I specified this, but I just want to mention that these aren't in any particular order. I'm just kind of randomly going through my list. The third thing I'm going to recommend to you guys, and what honestly might be my favorite thing on this whole list, is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, the original animated Pooh movie. And honestly, this is just a great animated movie. I don't know why this isn't one of the most talked about Disney classics. I feel like it's very underrated. It's a great movie, great music, the animation is great. Overall, it's just a classic movie, and if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch this movie. Especially if you're a fan of the characters like Pooh and Friends from future movies that came out. The Christopher Robin movie that came out a few years ago was really good, but this is a great movie, and I highly recommend it to anyone who loves the Pooh characters, Disney animation, or anything else. Great movie. The fourth movie that I'm recommending here is the Disney Channel original movie Camp Rock, which is on Disney+. A lot of you guys might not have seen this, and if you did, it was probably a while ago when it came out. But I really love this movie. I mean, this and High School Musical were some of the biggest parts of my childhood as far as the Disney Channel goes. The first one and its sequel are both really good movies. It's got some great songs in there, some classics that, I probably still remember word from word now, even though I probably haven't heard some of them in years. So even if you have seen Camp Rock already, it's probably worth a rewatch. We've got nothing here but time, and probably a lot of other work or schoolwork or something to do, but you also got time. So if you need something to do, Camp Rock is a great movie. It's not a long commitment. The original and the sequel are both an hour and a half. So, if you're feeling some Camp Rock, then Camp Rock. Alright, next up is one of the only newer things on my list, but is The World According to Jeff Goldblum, which is one of the Disney Plus original TV shows that came out when the platform was released. And I don't feel like a lot of people watch this show. I don't know, maybe it's just me. but I felt like it wasn't getting a lot of buzz. Overall, I really like the show. There are a few episodes that are duds, but overall the show's pretty interesting. He goes into some pretty neat topics throughout the first season, and they're already making a second season, I believe, which is very exciting. So if you haven't checked out The World According to Jeff Goldblum, you don't have to watch the whole series. It's not one of those type of shows. You can watch one episode and you get the gist of the show. So you can skip around too if you see a topic you might not like. Just skip that episode. You don't need to see it. They don't tie into each other. So yeah, it's a really good show. I highly recommend it. Sticking in the TV category is Phineas and Ferb, which might be my favorite animated TV show of all time. Probably, I don't know, a big part of my childhood, and I've recently discovered through rewatching some of the episodes that this show is still enjoyable even though I'm not a child anymore. There are some really funny jokes that still hit home, some songs are still catchy, and overall it's just a fun show to watch. Not a long show, they're like half-hour episodes. So if there's gonna be 104 days of quarantine and you're gonna need a way to spend it, I recommend checking out Phineas and Ferb. Even though most of you will probably be revisiting it, I feel like a lot of people watch that show. If you haven't, I mean, there's no better time than now to check this show out. The next thing I'm going to talk about, I believe this is the 7th thing on my list, again, no particular order, is the movie Invincible, which is a sports movie, so if you don't really like sports, probably not your thing. The movie stars Mark Wahlberg as Vince Papale. He's from Philly, not Mark Wahlberg, Vince Papale, which is where, I'm from Philadelphia. And in the movie, this is a true story. The Eagles hosted an open tryout, and Vince Papale went, and I'll let you figure out the rest for yourselves. But if you're a sports fan, it's a great movie. Personally, I feel like I have a little bit of an extra attachment because I'm from Philadelphia, and it's about the Eagles, kind of, which is our football team, for those of you who wouldn't know. And I've even met Vince Papale before as a kid, so it's kind of a cool thing for me, but overall it is a very good movie. Mark Wahlberg does a really good job, and overall, really good sports movie. I will add, though, here, if you're not a football fan and you're a baseball fan, Rookie of the Year, also on Disney+, great movie, not going to talk about it, but football, Invincible, baseball, Rookie of the Year, you can take your pick there. Number 8 is The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is a great classic Disney animated movie. Likelihood is you've probably seen it before, you probably know a lot of the music, but it's worth revisiting in my opinion. It's always worth a good rewatch. I just rewatched it recently, and even though I had seen it probably only a year earlier, still very enjoyable to rewatch because it's not one of the ones that's like ingrained in your memory, like Little Mermaid, like you can probably recite that whole movie, but Hunchback of Notre Dame, very enjoyable animated classic. Not much more I'm going to say about that. It's just good classic animated movie, great music, great animation, great characters, and that's pretty much it. Number 9 on my list is The Muppet Movie. This is another one very similar to Hunchback that most of you have seen before. If you have or if you haven't, worth the rewatch or first time watch because it's a classic movie with some great music. Really develops the characters of the Muppets really well over the course of the movie. It's got some very funny jokes that do hit home even to this day. So if you like the Muppets, or you think you might, highly recommend checking out The Muppet Movie, and then there's a whole bunch of more Muppet movies, and then there's a whole bunch of more Muppet stuff that you could watch. And by the way, I don't know if I specified this, but I mean the original Muppet Movie, not the one that just came out a few years ago. And finally, for today, before I drag on this video way too long, is Gravity Falls, which is a fantastic animated TV show that is so fun to watch and follow the plot. It's only 2 seasons, and it's all on Disney+. So I highly recommend you go check it out. It's such an intricate plot line, some of the best writing I've ever seen for an animated TV show, or really for any animated anything for that matter. It's just so fun to follow along throughout the 2 seasons. The one thing I find really cool about this show is that it is only 2 seasons, and that's not because it was bad. It was because the writers had a story planned out from day one. They saw it through, and that was the end of it, which I like that they didn't drag it on unnecessarily. So those are my recommendations for Disney Plus while you're sitting at home quarantined, or if you're watching this in the future, there are just some good things to watch on Disney Plus. If you want to see another video like this, I could do another sort of video. I could even just do a part 2 to this one, because honestly there are a few more things that I considered putting on this list that I decided not because I don't like, but just because I wanted to get these recommendations out there, and I wanted to keep it to 10 so I could stick to my top 10 sort of format I do. But there are plenty more things I highly recommend on Disney Plus, so if you want to see a part 2 to this video, hit that like button and comment down below. I also really like a lot of stuff on Netflix and Hulu, and I'm not going to do stuff with that on here, but if you want to know my thoughts on that, you can tweet at me at MadABTDisney, or even better, probably at my personal account where I'm more likely to respond to non-Disney stuff, at Senor_Spaghetti. I know, it's an awesome Twitter handle. Also, just a reminder, I am doing a Q&A video sometime soon too, so if you want to drop your comments down below for that video, let me know. Also, there's a video here and here that you can check out, or hit the button right in front of me here to subscribe to Mad About Disney. But that's all for now, and I'll see all you Mad Maniacs in the next video.
Wash your hands.